I thought the form should be iconic, something that you can see from all sides. When you look at it, you say, okay, that's an important institution, hence the circular shape of the building.
Hi, John.
Hi, Eleanor. It's
Thanks
great
for
to see
joining
you.
me here today.
Happy to be here. Thanks for coming.
This is beautiful.
The Park District undertook a study of several potential sites. It included the Central Business District, but it also included several sites around the city.
So this is the design and construction team.
About that time, the Park District was in the process of acquiring this land, which is about 17 acres in the Brighton Park community area.
This site is on Olmsted's Park and Boulevard system. Western Avenue is one of those boulevards, and I thought that should inform the project. It's kind of like a microcosm of Olmsted's Park and Boulevard system. There's this pathway that runs through the park and it widens into plazas, and then as it cuts through the building, it creates courtyards. Are you filming right now? Oh, okay. All the brick that you see is reclaimed brick from 2 demolished buildings in Chicago. I wanted to root the building in the local building culture, and any Chicagoan that looks at this brick would recognize it as Chicago common brick, and I thought that was very important for a building, for a civic institution like the Chicago Park District. These little projecting bricks you see here are for acoustics, so they break up the sound. Otherwise, the parallel walls in this courtyard, it would be a very echoey courtyard. You notice they're more spaced out at the bottom than at the top, and that is because we didn't want people using them to climb the wall because it is a recreation building.
Tell us a little bit about like the community planning process. Were you involved in that?
It was a community area that the city was underserved for parks and open space, and so we knew we wanted to do something at this location. We had 2 public meetings. It was during the COVID pandemic. So they were virtual meetings that were held in both English and Spanish. One of the outcomes of that community input session was the addition of a teen center in our fieldhouse space.
So this is kind of nice. You get to see kids playing in the gym. Mm-hmm. This is the break room.
Okay, yeah.
So here in the break room, you know, if you're a staff member of the Park District, you can be having lunch and watching kids playing basketball here.
So what do you think of the gordita?
They're really good. I normally don't like donuts, but I'm a fan of gorditas.
So from Bambino's on 63rd Street,
Okay.
family bakery.
So we researched old parks and field houses and so forth, and we noticed that really great field houses of past years were not on the edge of the park, but they were set within the park. So the layout here is gym on this side, club rooms on this side. These can be rented out for parties and so forth. And then yoga and fitness rooms here. And at the end of the hall is kind of a teens area with video games and so forth. The field house can be entered from either the south or the north into this main corridor.
So tell us a little bit about the materials here. They're different than in the headquarters portion.
Yeah. So this is ground face block. It's a custom block that we had in the chips match the you know, the Chicago Common brick. And then the ceiling is ash, and this is actually reclaimed ash from Park District ash trees that were stricken by the emerald ash borer. And some of the ash wood that you see in the gym is the same.
In 2021, when we started digging in the site, we encountered all of what was left behind from when the site had heavy industrial uses. I've joked that it was almost every industrial use that is possible in the city.
The objective was to keep all the dirt on site. So the building footprint and the playing fields are what's kind of known as an environmental cap that cap the dirty soil. And then the rest of the soil, rather than hauling it off to a landfill or someplace, we used it to kind of contour the site. So this is what we call the Great Lawn here. And that's where the neighborhood comes, just to kind of have picnics and so forth, but it's also where events are held. We got 3 things here for young children. We have a splash pad over there. We have kind of a traditional playground with playground equipment, and then this is called a nature play area.
So talk about the sunshade a little bit. To me, this almost looks like metal lath that you would have plaster on.
These fins support an expanded metal sunshade, reduces energy consumption, and makes the interior more comfortable. But what those fins also do is give the building a round appearance, even though it's actually faceted.
Mm-hmm.
For me, working in planning and construction, a lot of times I'm working with contractors or designers, but I'm not necessarily in the field with our childhood programming. So it's cool seeing the impacts that the spaces that you've helped create are, how they're being used long term.
Yeah, I wanted to make them feel like they were working in a park.
Well, I think you succeeded.
Yeah.
It's all around us.
It's interesting to hear every building's story. A well-designed building is shaped by the community around it, and the best way to uncover these stories is by hearing directly from the architects who created them. Thank you, John, for joining us to uncover why design matters.